Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Yeah, welcome to Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. It's the first time that you're going to see our dirtbag producer Giorgio on the show because he is an actual fighter.
Yeah, I was a wrestler, but we can say the same thing.
Yeah, you look like a fucking dirty fighter, dude.
I just look like a dirtbag, but you know.
When people see you in the street and see your cauliflower ears, the first thing they say is, "Oh, how long you been fighting?"
Yeah, that's because a lot of them are bros and they just want to talk to me about UFC. So I figured I'd join you guys today and give you my opinion.
You are welcome. This is an emergency episode. The biggest fight of the year is about to take place tomorrow night. We are brought to you by MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your deposits. I have not missed the main events this entire year so far, and I feel like I might have jinxed myself by saying that, but I have not missed one single main event the entire year. Bet with us or against us on MyBookie.com. This is as good as it gets. Khabib versus Gaethje. Before we get to that, though, D'Anthony, it is important to announce that both made weights. They both just weighed in. Khabib looks shredded, by the way.
He looked tired as fuck and sucked out. He had to pull the pants down immediately. He called for the towel without even getting on the scale. So it looked like a real hard weight cut for Khabib. And as soon as he made it, you see this giant sigh of relief on his face. So that's a good quick point Gaethje, to be honest. Gaethje looked really healthy stepping on that scale.
He did. Let me ask you this. When you're that thin and cut, what is he walking around at then? What is Khabib walking around at weight-wise?
Khabib probably pops up to 185 in the off.
185?
Yeah, 185.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably a lean guy. He seems like his diet is probably pretty consistent throughout his life, so he probably doesn't get as fat as some of the Americans who like to really balloon up, like Johnny Hendricks. You'd see that guy gain 60 pounds after his fight. But yeah, Khabib's probably 175, 180.
Here's the thing. He's from Russia. So his diet can consist of potatoes, and probably sand and potatoes.
Yeah, probably a little bit more potato on the side of that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of lentil. Is it lentil?
Gazpacho.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Right?
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not a soup guy. You know what I'm saying? I go to Panera Bread, and I get a little Brock and cheese in there, and that's it. Dan's mic is off?
Dan, make sure mic 4 is on.
Doesn't matter. We're live.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it unmuted? Fake Dan? Fake Dan's running the operations today because Giorgio's actually on the show. So let us know.
Yeah, I'll run back around there and check it out real quick.
If it is. And I'll keep talking because that's what I am great at. Two things in this life: eating ass and talking. I'm the best at both. I'm in particular looking forward to this fight because I hate Khabib so much that I want him to lose. I know that is a really fucking awful thing to say, but it is the 100% honest truth. I'm one of those people who wants knockouts, excitement. I don't like fucking bear hugs and butt fucking in the UFC. Dan and I, you and I have seen, I think, 2 Khabib fights in person. Same thing. Look, McGregor at least went out, man. You and I were at the McGregor fight.
Yeah, it was the same thing with GSP, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you have to make up your mind, and I think a lot of these guys haven't done it yet. You have to make up your mind if you want to be a champion or if you want to be an entertainer that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because you can't.
Can you guess mine?
You can definitely be both. Connor's an example of how you can be both. There are a lot of examples of people who have failed to do so and then whined about it afterwards. Khabib doesn't really whine about the money that much, but he's failed to make himself into a brand, in my opinion.
Well, he says he has enough money.
Henry Cejudo, same way. He's bitching and complaining about not getting paid. Do something exciting. Throw a fucking brick through a bus window, dude.
Yeah.
This is entertainment. And the other combat sport entertainment that exists, even though it's scripted and fake, is WWE, and there's a very clear-cut formula for how to build heels and faces.
Yeah.
Right? You can read about this shit everywhere. Do it instead of complaining about your results. Now, a lot of these guys fight just because, like Forrest Griffin, for example, just like to fight.
Yeah.
Stephen Bonner, who fought him back in the day, just like to fight. They didn't care about any of this other bullshit. If you're like that, fine. But don't be Henry Cejudo and fucking pout and take your ball and go home.
He was a great fighter, but just no one cares about lightweight fighters. That's just the issue of entertainment in the sport, and like we can try to give it attention and we can try to hype up some of these like lower weight classes, but anything under 145, and like.
But they
people just
would
don't
care if he was acting like a fucking raged out asshole all the time, and they were talking.
But
good
he's
shit.
not. He was at the Olympic Training Center when he was like 17
I know. I'm
years
just
old.
saying, if he was like, you have to learn how to develop your brand, man. It's not good enough just to have a good product anymore. You can have the best product in the world, but if your commercial is somebody taking a shit on top of your product, people are like, oh, that product's got shit on it. I don't want that. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to fucking build yourself as a brand. The best people at it now are people like LeBron James. Michael Jordan was great at it back in the day. Kobe was great at it. A lot of professional athletes have really learned how to do it. And look, that money comes not from the fucking payoff from the fights or from the athletic event. It comes from the sponsorships afterwards. You're responsible for making your nut.
Football and basketball are completely different sports in that aspect, though. Like looking at wrestling, boxing, martial arts, those are non-spectator sports. No one shows up to the stands for those. No one really cares about those. So a lot of times the people who are participating in them only care about the sport itself. Two guys walk in there. Who walks out? Who is the best?
The
and that's all that really
the people
matters.
that make it that
to
far to develop enough talent skill to become professionals usually don't have that other skill set. You know what I mean? And it's a different challenge for NBA kids. Mostly it's kids that have been poor their whole lives. Now all of a sudden they've got money and no idea what to do with it, and they got all these friends who are trying to leech on them. So each organization has their own problems. I really wish, as good as Dana White is at promoting, why hasn't he started some organization inside of the UFC that teaches these kids how to make their own brand? That would be so great, not only for them, but for that fucking company, dude. They wouldn't be losing people to Bellator.
So they do, by the way. Every one of these guys who has a flashy knockout or they feel that they can market, immediately the publicists come up to them. The problem is, a lot of these guys, you're just born with it.
Maybe it's
and there's
Maybelline.
nothing you can do. Do we have a special guest popping in, Fake Dan? Put him up on the screen. Is he here? Is he here? Who do we got here today?
Oh,
hey!
What up?
Rocco's here. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Dude, chilling. On my way to set, and I had to call in because I want to talk about this, and especially the subject you're talking about right now, Dan. I have something interesting that I thought. Did you guys see on Twitter how Conor McGregor wanted to do a fight? He wanted to host his own fight with Dustin Poirier.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most brilliant move he could have done, and if he was successful at it, I think the UFC probably emailed and said, "We're going to sue your ass," right? Because,
Well, yeah, both of them are under contract with the UFC.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the deal. If they would do that, they would be making stupid money. More money than they ever made in their career. Maybe not Conor, but Dustin would have, and every other fighter would be jumping on ship with this. Look at what Homeboy did streaming boxing, that influencer.
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, yeah.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, I think he
What
made
he
15
did with
mil from that.
Yeah, he made $15 million.
Yeah, he ruined boxing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
horrible for the sport itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible for the sport, but here's the deal. When it comes down to making your own career and making the money for yourself, it's a smart idea, especially if you have some kind of a following. And if Conor McGregor, if they were off contract and did that, game over. You would destroy UFC, but you would actually get paid what you deserve by fighting in the ring. And so it's this interesting thing. I just thought it was pretty dope. And
But that's
fucking
it's a
amazing.
one-off, though.
Yeah,
That's only a one-off.
It is a one-off, but once you have the problem, the reason these fighters can't do it individually, and it was a problem because we discussed this a year ago, if you remember, is that all the contracts with the pay-per-view companies and all this other bullshit is very good. The venue stuff, all that, the operations in general are a lot to manage. You would have to hire a fuckload of people, and the UFC already owns the infrastructure just to turn that switch and do
That's
that
what I'm
automatically.
saying. Like, to run that organization is so difficult.
But an organization that's owned by actual fighters, and this is something that the NBA entertained as well, getting rid of all these old billionaire owners and just starting their own league. I think that's a really great idea, to be honest. The more power the people that are actually doing the thing have, the better always. That always works.
They would have made more money. Dustin Poirier probably would have made more money in that fight than he would have made his whole career so far with the UFC.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so that alone is like, it's a one-off, yes, but a one-off that can, one, capitalize his career, and then two, reinvest back into doing it again and creating prelim cards. And I think it just would almost be almost like a Team Money, a Mayweather thing where you can almost create your own promotion and make that money.
That's exactly what it is.
And there would be nowhere to hide.
And it challenges.
But Dustin Poirier isn't making money on
challenges
Dustin
UFC to
Poirier's
actually pay
name.
them
He's
right.
making money off Conor McGregor. He's getting that huge payday because Conor McGregor's a superstar and needs a dancing partner. He doesn't raise his value anywhere else after that fight. It's like, okay, let me cash in, which I don't think is a bad idea if he wants to retire. But if he still wants to compete and he still wants to be a champion, he has to do that inside the UFC because unfortunately that's where some of the best fighters are at his weight class right now.
Well, right now.
Yeah, but I think
And that can change.
Challenges. Correct, but I think it would challenge UFC to pay them more fairly because they could step out and create their
Then
own.
Conor would have to
entity
start
if
his
they
own
want.
promotional company or his own fight
And he
organization.
should.
Yeah.
And he should. He
Yeah.
has the money to do it.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Rocco. Your dad's one of the most famous cut men in the business as far as boxing goes.
Yeah.
Has he worked with any of these superstars who have that built-in personality, who make that kind of crazy money? And what is that like behind the scenes?
It's interesting. Like, so he's been, Sugar Ray Leonard is a good buddy of his, and they've done Thanksgiving at his house and stuff because of the Contender, and that's when he was already on his way out, right? But he's been on the other side of those superstars. He was in the fight against Deontay Wilder with his fighter who got knocked out in like 30 seconds. He was on the other side of Mayweather. He was on the other side. And that is like, he always talked about like, man, it's a different world when you're fighting those guys because they bring a whole different element to the fight game. Because look, when Mayweather fights, everybody makes money, not just Mayweather, right? Like everybody, the promotion. And so you just get treated as like first class meat. You're going to get fucked up, but you're going to get paid for it, And so he always talks about like, it's just a different environment when you're fighting these superstars.
Yeah, I hope there is a day that comes where, there is some type of training program for these guys to come in and help them develop a personality, develop a brand.
It's going to be the fighters,
and
right?
build their name. Yeah,
look at the NBA. It's people like Kendrick Perkins who are retired now, who are back in the NBA teaching these kids how to save and spend their money, how to keep these assholes from where they grew up away from their money and shit, keep their family from bleeding them dry and build a brand for themselves. It's going to be this generation of fighter right now. Conor McGregor, maybe GSP, some of these guys, Matt Hughes, it's out there now, Forrest, who's actually working at the Performance Institute for UFC right now. All these guys are going to fucking come back after they finish fighting, and they have to. For the sport to grow, they have to. They have to give back after this. They have to come back and teach these kids how not to make the mistakes they did, how to negotiate on their behalf and get more money out of the situation so they can buy more free time, which is going to make their fights better, make their training better, make everything better.
Right.
Everything gets better because those fighters, at Rocco, as you know, and your dad knows, they're paying for all their own shit. All that training, all those supplements, all that shit, all the travel, they're paying for all that shit themselves. It's not like you just show up and win $50,000 in a fight and you got $50,000.
No, when Tim Kennedy's been on numerous times, and after his last fight, he was like, dude, I think I walked away with 27 grand after he paid off my fucking team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to include your medical insurance, right?
Yeah.
So they will cover your medical for, I think it's 60 days from that fight or anything that was accumulated from that fight. But outside of that, you have no medical insurance, which is kind of like goes hand in hand with how the NFL is starting to really recognize the CTE and start to actually have something for NFL players after. UFC and boxing don't have that. There's a couple organizations that are trying to stir something up here, but they're starting to identify the CTE is so serious in boxing, and we all know that, but they're now finally like, oh, so NFL noticed it, so we have to acknowledge it as well. And so but you don't see it too much in UFC because for some reason, I guess people think, when you get hit really hard, you get knocked out. It doesn't matter. You're still the longevity of training for 20. Look at freaking Randy Couture. The dude fought for 20 years or something.
Yeah, most of your injuries are in camp.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so it's this funny thing that there has to be something made for them in that aspect as well. I personally, my ex-brother-in-law is Jeremy Williams. I've seen him go from a guy who can have an awesome conversation, be funny, to now really struggle with just a regular dialogue day to day. And it's hard to watch and to know there is no answers for these guys who are modern day gladiators who we pay good money just to watch because it's entertainment and it's beautiful to see someone just fight. I don't know what it is about it that draws us all in. And I just wish there was more answers for the aftermath of fighting.
Yeah, I agree. Because, I look at someone like you, and you're currently shooting the Mayans in season 3 right now. We appreciate your time today, obviously. But when you started that and you started, your journey to acting, before you got there, you already had a brand put in place. You had a huge Instagram. You had a huge Facebook. You were making a name for yourself. And I remember when you got hired on that show, the publicists for FX were like, holy shit, you have the biggest social media out of the entire cast. And this is your first fucking TV show. That's what should happen to all of these guys before they even start. Think about the future. Don't plan it of like, oh shit, because once you're there and you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
That's what happened to me, social media wise.
European football has this shit handled. When I say European football, I mean soccer. They are drafting these kids out at 13, 14 years old and teaching them not only how to play the game, but how to be. You see, there's plenty of turds in European soccer, right? There's plenty of dudes that cheat on their wives and do dumb shit or whatever the fuck.
But that's Europe, baby.
Yeah, but you don't see these guys involved in major scandals that often because they have been conditioned for so long to do the right thing all the time because everybody's fucking watching. It's a big deal in European soccer to not have any drama going on.
Right.
But they're out of normal schools and out of their parents' homes
absolutely.
by 12.
By 12.
They're in
12
the
to
club,
14,
and the club
yeah.
handles like school and education time for about 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
They have like public image time. You have
Yep.
PR reps, and then you have 2 training sessions a day. So they run your life. These kids are conditioned.
And they
for
don't
those
just
6 years.
if you end up not making it, they don't just discard you. Most of those people end up working for the team.
Yeah, or
working
you have
in marketing
value.
or something
You're
like that.
loaned out to another club to try to make
there's-
money. Yeah, like,
there's a lot of stuff going on there, and not saying we should have kids training for UFC at 12 years old, right? That's not the point. The point is there's definitely a model out there for interdicting these people as early as possible and teaching them the right things, not only so they're successful, but so they're safe. They maximize their earning potential, and all those things together will rise the tide for everybody. The product gets better, which means more people are going to watch, and everybody makes more at that point. But for some reason, the UFC is not done. I don't understand that.
There's no
honestly.
clubs. These are all community-run clubs that are run around organizations
Correct.
with people
Yeah.
with them. There's no homes for these guys. There's fighting camps that are all around, but because of the weight classes, when you get partners in there and they compete against each other, they go to a different team. They go to a different camp. You can't build a community around each other, and I think it's so cutthroat in such an individual sport. That's what leads to all these things because people got to get what's theirs, and you're not going to get insurance. You're not going to get that big payday, so you got to take care of yourself.
And they're spread out all over the country. They're not in one place. Like, Nate Diaz is in Stockton.
Yeah,
It's
Nate and his
just-
brother Nick, are both in Stockton, and there's pockets, right? And there's gyms where multiple fighters come from, but it's not like they have a union or something like that. There's no players union for UFC fight. If there was, they would be making a lot more goddamn money.
A lot. But
And
look, the UFC doesn't want that. They want to make as much money as they can.
Yeah, I
so.
don't get that.
Oh,
I mean, you can only
the
squeeze so
Reebok-
much moisture out of a stone, right? Like at some point,
Yeah.
they're going to like Brian Bader's a good example. He makes more money in
In
Bellator
Bellator.
than he would ever make in the UFC, and he's never going to leave Bellator for that reason. He's smart to do so. Like,
Yeah,
why
well,
would you?
speaking of sponsorships, it's Cutman, right? Cutman, the most famous UFC Cutman was Stitch Dudon.
Yeah.
Stitch Dudon lost $100,000 just on losing the sponsorships he could wear on his shirt, right? Like
When they went to
as
Reebok,
a cut man. It's just incredible that you would compromise someone's just livelihood.
Yeah, if you guys
based
don't
on
know
you just
that, the
don't-
UFC didn't allow any private sponsorships on your logos or banners anymore because they have a complete exclusive deal with Reebok.
Correct. And I believe they just swapped it out for somebody new, and that's going to
Yes.
start in a year. Do you know the name of that company, Rocco? I didn't recognize it.
Is it Venom? I believe it was.
Yes, you're correct.
And Venom is always been around in the MMA scene. They make really good gloves and shin guards and everything. So they started in the Muay Thai and MMA world. They've been around, man. They've just been a small rolling stone that's just been there, but hasn't done anything great in a while. I'm imagining they had to fork up a lot of money to get this, and it's going to change their whole business.
It is if they can keep up. I worry with a smaller company like that they can keep up with the sales of it, because I know Under Armour went through some growing pains. Obviously, Reebok went through some growing pains when they were getting started up. And when you blow up overnight like a Venom, you worry. Hey man, do you have the inventory and infrastructure to support this? Because it's going to be a lot real quick for those guys.
Yeah, it really is. And last thing on that, please, UFC, train these guys. Get somebody involved. If you're out there and you're a former UFC fighter and you're not doing shit right now except for doing commentary, if you're one of these guys that's on the team, please get involved and help these kids. I want to see this sport continue. I want to see it get better. And it's only going to happen if people are comfortable with the safety aspect, and the fighters are getting taken care of, and but you have to attract the best talent to have the best product.
Right.
And you're not going to do that when the messaging is all like, yeah, UFC is dope and all, but UFC keeps all the money and the fighters don't get paid. Nobody's going to fucking train for 6 to 10 hours every single day of the week to get that. That's fucking stupid, right?
Right.
So let's get to the fight. Let's talk about the
we'll
goddamn
get to the fight. And I heard a rumor real quick before we get to this card that you sparred actually with Justin Gaethje. Is that true?
Yeah, actually, it was before. Remember when we were in Colorado for that event for the Screaming Eagle tour?
Yes.
Shaved Eagle.
The Shaved Eagle. Yeah. It was
That's
that?
the Shaved Eagle. Yeah, dude. That's when I sparred with him. I went to so he's been working with my nonprofit Hero Sports, and by chance, we were going to be in Colorado, so I told my partner to fly out. Let's go meet him. And we went out there, and we went to his facility. At the time, it was what is it called, the Gulch or the Grudge. I forget what it's called, but that's where he was training out of. And we threw on the gloves and shin guards, and we sparred it out. And, dude, I'm not a small guy, right? He's compared to me, I felt like, oh, man, I'm going to destroy this dude in here. And even though it's fun sparring, I just felt like I had no threat. The first kick, my leg was numb. I was like, oh, shoot. And
Not
so then
fun.
it was just like, okay, I got to trust these hands, right? I trust my hands. And as I'm jabbing away at him, man, he would not stop coming. He just kept pressuring. At one, there's a picture, no joke. He gets in close enough and does some kind of sweep. My feet were head over tea kettles straight to my back and knocked the wind out of me. And I was like, what the hell was that? I mean, it was just it was a great time, a great experience. We had fun. The kid packs a punch, and he's just such an all-around sweetheart of a person, good dude, and I've just nothing but respect for him. And obviously, if you're asking my pick,
Yeah, you know I'm going there.
You already know, man. And if you mind, I'll explain why.
Yes, fire away.
So, his coach, and somebody remind me his coach's name. Does anyone have that? It's Whitman. Yes, Trevor Whitman. Sorry. One of the most smart coaches. I mean, if you guys don't know, he's also the coach for Rose.
Yep.
The guy is brilliant, and it's not about anything other than understanding who he's fighting and understanding the techniques that can win, but as well as showing up and saying, be the best fighter you can at all levels. We'll show up what they show up and see what happens. So if you watch the Ferguson fight, it was such a technical, beautiful match, and how he picked him apart. He was smart, and then when he goes to the corner, he gets a little excited, gets caught a little bit. The coach goes, hey, stupid, this is how you lost your last 2 fights. He goes, got it. Boom, goes back there, readjusts, and goes back to the game plan. And I think, I'm a fan of him, and I really want him to win, and I understand what he's up against someone who's just incredibly good at what he does, right? Khabib is good at what Khabib does. And I remember the fight against Sal Junta, I don't even know how to name him, but that was an interesting fight because Sal was hard to get down, and it kept it on the feet a lot. And if Justin's background in wrestling can help do the same, well, then Justin will be able to impose his will.
He doesn't wrestle, though.
Excuse me?
He doesn't wrestle. Like he hasn't in a long time. Yeah, he just refuses to wrestle inside the UFC.
Justin doesn't wrestle because Justin hasn't had to wrestle. Doesn't mean he doesn't wrestle. He still has the skill set. He still trains it.
Oh,
and
I completely agree.
And so I'm excited to see him use the sprawl to get back on his feet and chop this motherfucker down. And I really believe if he can impose his will by keeping his sprawls on point, staying on the feet, he's going to pick this motherfucker apart.
Now, what bigger role does the fact that Khabib's dad's dead now, what's this guy, Javier or something, Mendez, I think is his new coach. This is the first fight since September of last year, so it's been over a year since he's fought. Now he's with a new coach. His dad's dead. I mean, he's a very cerebral guy. You can tell by the way he prepares for fights, and by the way he makes really good decisions in critical moments during fights, so you know he's a smart guy. I wonder how this is fucking with his head, because typically smart people respond poorly to traumatic stress versus dumb people. I mean, there's a sliding scale there.
It's interesting. You don't know what kind of person he's going to be. He could either be the guy that uses this as the motivation that gives him that extra grit and that extra will to fight through it, or I'm curious to know how well his camp really went after this, and emotionally how he went through it. Is his heart in it anymore? Was he fighting for his dad? Was it just to make dad proud, right? Like, a lot of questions I have, and I think this fight we're really going to be able to tell. I think by the late second round, we're going to know, like, oh shit, he's not the same Khabib we thought he was, or he's not able to do what Khabib wants. If I'm going to call it, I think it's going to be late second round is where we're going to see really decisive decisions here and what happens, whether he's holding Justin to the ground and can't get up, or Justin's going to be having his way with him.
Do you predict a knockout then? Are you calling a knockout for Justin?
Yeah, I think it's a TKO second round late.
Okay, TKO second round late. Now, Vegas would disagree with you on this one here. On mybookie.com, promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your deposits. Yep. It is minus 330 for Khabib. That is a monstrous odds. You're essentially a 3.5 to 1 underdog in this fight. I want to ask you about the over-under here, because a lot of us bet on the over-under in UFC. I am hammering the under on this. It is 4.5.
Ooh, man.
So do you think this will go? You clearly said this is going to, so you're going to take the under in this.
I really don't think it's going 4.5.
I don't either. So I'm hammering the under on this as well. However, I am taking Khabib in this for the facts that you mentioned, that he doesn't wrestle that much. Unfortunately, when Dan and I were at the Khabib McGregor fights, he just swarmed McGregor and got him to the ground, got him uncomfortable. I just don't see Khabib losing, and it's a shame because Justin is a superstar. I want to see Justin become champion and knock people out for the next 5 years. I think the UFC needs it. I think this guy is boring as shit. Every time he fights, I fucking hate it. I can smell his goddamn hat every time he puts it on, Khabib. I hate him more than life itself. I would be happy. I'm putting $500 in this fight. I would be happy to light that $500 on fire just to see Justin knock him out in the second round, exactly like you predicted. Unfortunately, as the host of a sports show, I have to go with my wallet on this one, and I'm saying Khabib, and I'm also hitting the under of 4.5 rounds. Who do you have?
Oh, we're starting with
Giorgio.
the last fight?
Yes,
oh, wow.
yes, we are. We're
card.
going hard.
So if you guys are putting your hard American dollars anywhere, put it on G. This fight is going to go all 5 rounds. It's going to go to Khabib on the cards. It's going to be a very frustrated and disappointed Justin Gaethje, in which he is not able to apply anything that he does. He gets very frustrated. Khabib is going to shoot a double or a high single to the right side, drive him to the cage, get him to the cage, finish the takedown, and Justin's going to get frustrated. He's not going to be able to get his game plan going. Khabib is not going to look his best. It's not going to be a very pretty fight, but Khabib is going to win handedly on the cards because you need to win 4 rounds to beat the champion, which Justin Gaethje is not going to do. And we're going to move on to the GSP fight, and then Khabib's going to retire. And I think Justin Gaethje has a good chance of being the champion in this division and being one of the stars of this division after Khabib leaves.
In 2 years?
No, a year.
Okay.
After this fight, you might as well give him an interim belt because Khabib's not going to fight another challenger at this weight class. He's probably just going to fight GSP. And then, bring an interim champion in, and then we basically restart the weight class and see who comes to the top.
So just so we're clear, you were taking the over in this because you think this is going to go the distance and be a unanimous decision.
Yep.
Okay. Dan, that is a long hit of marijuana you just took to think about this. So you were really thinking about this.
I think that the impact of his dad dying is going to be bigger than what I haven't heard anybody talking about it yet. I mean, I know this coach that he's using and the assistant coach have been around for a while now, but we saw what his dad was clearly a big part of his life. Mm-hmm. On the biggest stage, he brought his dad with him and put him in a position because he wanted his dad to be proud of him. It's a big deal to him, and it reminds me of Michael Jordan. It reminds me of when Michael Jordan's dad died, and he left the game entirely. Now, Khabib is hard as nails. It's absolutely true. So was Jordan, though.
Yep.
One of the most mentally tough athletes in the history of America.
But something happens when you lose your father. It happened to Tiger Woods, and it happened to Michael Jordan.
It did happen to Tiger Woods as well.
And let's face it, Khabib is the Michael Jordan of UFC currently.
Yeah, right now. And it's hard to believe that he's going to come in. And the thing that makes him better isn't that he's stronger necessarily or faster necessarily. It's that he's very disciplined and technically skilled. He's got those two things on lock better than anybody I've ever seen as a fighter, to be honest.
Which is why I don't see his dad dying affecting his performance in the way that some people do.
But those two things require absolute 100% concentration with no breaks, because one mistake can get you knocked out. One mistake can get you in a bad position where somebody's got your back and all this other shit. I don't know if he can go for 15 minutes and not have that kind of trouble.
His religion, though. He's a very religious man. I think he leans heavily on that to give him focus and drive forward.
Maybe. And here's the problem. We're trying to figure out the psychology of a man in order to gamble.
In which we all have no idea and never spoken to the individual,
right.
So yeah.
I don't know him, but that's why I cite historic references. Every single time this has happened, an athlete at the very top of their game, their dad dies, they have collapsed completely. I expect it to happen here. I think Rocco's right. I'm going Gaethje second or third round probably.
Ooh, I like it. Rocco, I know you've got to go. You are currently filming The Mayans Season 3 as we speak, and you are on set. Thank you for your time today. Where can everybody find you, and how is Veteran going?
Veteran.com, man. It's doing good. We're going to give away, actually, I'm going to identify who won today or tomorrow and give them that call and give them their 2 motorcycles and $20,000, dude. So it's been good. Yeah, it's been good. We're going to keep on moving. I think that next month we're going to be giving away some Xbox to some veterans and anyone who wants to. And then December, we're looking to try and get a Ford Bronco to give away. So
Yo, if it's white, I'm all in. I will put all the raffle tickets, everything in there. You know I want that white juice Bronco.
I'll have to make it that.
Please do. Go to betterin.com. That's BETERAN.com. And then follow Rocco on social media. Vincent Rocco Vargas on Instagram, Twitter, and everywhere else. He's currently shooting Mayan Season 3, which will air next year on FX. Have a great day of filming, buddy. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
buddy.
See you later.
All right, kids, we got a split card here amongst the Drinkin Bros. 2 for Khabib and 2 for Gaethje. Man,
I get why you would.
this is rare. This has not happened on the show.
I get why you would say Khabib. I mean, he is. Everybody thinks that the undefeated are undefeatable until they become defeated. You know what I mean? It's happened a bunch of times, except for with Rocky Marciano. He never got defeated.
And Mayweather. Mayweather is still not lost.
Yeah, it's true. I guess technically speaking, he fights his game.
I know.
I mean,
it's
sucks,
ugly.
but
Look,
yeah.
I hate it the same way as I hate Khabib.
I mean, you have to give him credit though. That is the discipline, and
watching that kind of discipline is almost beautiful. Like I
is
enjoy
an
watching
art.
that. Like
It's an art.
seeing there's never a second where you can break. Like it's just constant pressure.
And I think it's like you see people that are disciplined in other sports, but in fighting, like there's no other sport where one small fraction of a second mistake can ruin everything. You know what I mean? After you can dominate an entire situation, and then one fraction of a second can end that fight. So Gaethje's in there looking for a knockout, in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't think he wants to go to the floor. He wants to
Yeah.
make a statement. If I'm his team, I'm telling him you need to make a statement. And I'm also preparing him for what is inevitably going to happen, which is Khabib's going to feel him out for probably 15 seconds. And then he's going to try to double shoot or try to shoot.
I see a horribly boring first round. I see nothing happening in the first round.
He might shoot somewhere in the first 30 to 45 seconds, try to pin him on the cage, and then feel him out. See how Gaethje reacts to that. That's what he's going to do in the first round. If Gaethje can catch him with a knee in the face, which he will be training to do this week.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was training to do. That I mean, you've seen fight camps before. That's why fucking Street Jesus.
Yeah, that Superman flying knee.
The video came out later of him practicing that like 3 weeks in advance. He knew that Askren wanted to fucking charge and get him on the ground. Now,
Ben is that cocky.
Khabib is a smart fighter though. He's not. He has not been Askren by any stretch of the imagination. However, he does fight the same basic fight every single time, which makes it even more impressive, by the way, that nobody can stop this asshole.
Yeah.
Because you know what's coming. You still can't. It's like trying to hit a fastball with Nolan Ryan or something. Like you know what's coming. You still can't do anything with it. Now, again, eventually, he's 32 years old now. His dad just died. Things are different now.
They are. But I tell you this, we need somebody to break the tie. Fake Dan. Is your mic on, by the way?
Oh, Fake Dan's probably going to
Great.
go for the
believe so,
ref or
yeah.
something.
I can't hear it.
It's
Is
cool.
it-
It's probably on.
Okay,
Now,
so
too.
it's
We're still
recording?
recording,
Okay, great.
yeah.
Fake Dan, we got a 2-2 tie here.
Yep.
Who do you like, Khabib versus Gaethje?
I'm going Justin, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going Gaethje as well?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I love dogs. I love plus money.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Here's how it works, though, right? So Justin,
Can you guys hear Fake Dan out there, by the way?
I'm pretty sure they can.
let him know.
Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah.
Either way, I think Justin, his problem, in his few losses, was he kind of feeds into the crowd, and he kind of gets ahead of himself, and he plays to the crowd. With no crowd, I think he plays like a patient game, and he picks his spots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over under 4.5 rounds. Who do you got?
No, he's knocking him out.
So he's knocking Khabib out.
Yeah.
No. Khabib loses if he gets hurt. If he breaks a shin bone, tears an Achilles,
he's not gonna
if Justin compromises him, which I think he can do with the leg kicks. And watching that Ferguson fight back, I just did that a little bit while ago earlier.
Yeah.
Ferguson had a very unorthodox stance and moving. Justin was able to open up with either that inside leg kick or that outside leg kick when he changed stance to southpaw. And I think that's what he's going for Khabib because the distance is going to be there. He's not going to get into the range where Khabib can take a shot or look for that first punch where Justin wants to counterpunch.
Yep.
So that distance is going to be there, which is why I think it's going to be a boring fight. I think Justin can't get it going.
I agree.
Maybe, but
you and I are in agreement on this.
That's very possible, but he will try to use the inside leg kick a lot on Khabib, especially early, which begs the question, Does Khabib now? He's not a bad striker. He's a great wrestler, but he's
He
not
knocked
a bad,
down Conor McGregor.
Yeah, he's not a bad striker. So what are the chances if Gaethje starts to get loose or liberal with that inside leg kick, he gets it grabbed and punched right in his fucking face? That's a big possibility in the first round, to be honest.
How liberal? AOC liberal or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just checking.
Khabib's a guy that adjusts really quickly inside of one fight. Like, it's one thing. This is a Greg Maddox kind of situation. It's one thing to have your little sheet like this guy doesn't like it low and away and throw it low and away.
Right.
There's another thing to remember when you fought him pitched against him 2 years ago. Like, hey, I threw him this inside fastball, but that's still in his head. I'm going to fucking throw a slider this time on the first pitch instead. That's the way the Khabib reacts, but in a very short amount of time. Like,
Yeah,
he sees
he adjusts,
somebody's
yeah.
stance change and he'll adjust. I could really see him knocking out Gaethje in the first round too. Particularly
Yeah,
if
if
he
Gaethje
loose.
gets frustrated and tries to go after him real quick,
Yeah.
and I can
You can't do
definitely
that.
see that too.
You can't do that.
That overhand right punch.
The
Yep.
good thing about the Ferguson fight for Gaethje, at least what it tells us about how this fight's going to go, and look, those are two different stages. Not that Ferguson's not a great fighter. Obviously, he's one of the toughest motherfuckers alive because he took a beating like I've never seen anybody take a beating before. But he's not Khabib, right?
No, his
So-
toughness is one of one.
Yeah. So he's a category of one when it comes to toughness, absolutely, mentally and physically. So you have to wonder if he's going to be able to catch him off guard like that. Like, I think he will. I honestly think it's because of the dad thing. I don't think it's because of Khabib or anything like that. But man, Gaethje's ability to listen to his corner with all the quiet, with no fans there, I think really helped him in that fight. And it's going to be there this time too. Now it's going to be a matter of if he can listen or if the moment's too big for him. I don't think the moment's too big for him.
No, he seems really at home in the ring. He's
Yeah,
happy when
he
he's in
likes
there
it.
fighting. It's his playtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to reiterate what Fake Dan said earlier about him loving the dogs. So what he's saying at home for anybody who's new to gambling is he likes the underdogs because the payouts are better. Therefore, you can put less money on them and win more. So when I said that I was going to put $500 on Khabib, for instance, at a minus 330, what that means is my $500 wins me back only $151, which is dog shit. I mean, absolute dog shit. To me, if we weren't doing this show, putting $500 on Khabib to win this fight, if you're not absolutely 100% positive, is dumb. To only win $150, that is fucking stupid. Now, look, Dan and I bet all the time on this show, every single, I mean, Jesus Christ, 20, 30 games a weekend, whatever it is, right? I don't even think we pull our, I haven't pulled my money out in 2 years, I don't think, on that website.
I haven't pulled it out since I put it in for the 2018 Clemson bet for 18-19 national championship.
No, we went to a dinner after that. I think we pulled it out after that, and then whatever was in there. Yes, correct.
I haven't pulled anything out of my account since then.
I did. I went fucking hard in Vegas. Either way, food, not even like anything cool. But that's what that means. Now, for you, Fake Dan, how much does somebody like you? You're a normal bettor, normal dude walking around. How much do you bet on a fight like this on Gaethje?
I already put $100 on Gaethje.
Okay, so
on
you put
Justin,
$100 on Gaethje.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's what, plus 250?
He's plus 255 right now.
Yeah.
So Dan's gonna need an advance of $100 on his next paycheck.
I like how you're just calling him out. Like, hey, man, you're definitely not going to win this.
We'll see.
We'll see. 3-2. 3-2, kids. Your decision at this point, man. We got 2 Khabibs, and then we got
Bet on the guy with the
3
beard.
Gaethjes. Look, I 100% agree. We will get to the next fights here.
Are we starting over, going to the bottom of the card?
Would you like to go to the bottom of the card?
I mean, just
Go ahead.
I'm the guest here, so
you are, but I will say this: you are also a what I consider a UFC expert. You watch
you.
every single fight where it's like
I try to.
I only watch the big boys where it's like I like the fame, I like the.
Yeah, we're actually going to go live on YouTube tomorrow. What
Money.
time?
Tomorrow the fight starts at 1 Central Time.
Yeah, so
I don't
noon
know what
Eastern.
time it is for you
Or,
guys.
2
but-
Eastern.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
Eastern. We're gonna be there'll be a little counter on, so you know what time the fight is on, and we're gonna be talking shit the entire time. And probably be really drunk and really high.
Yes, because
Well-
that if you watch all the cards on one of these things, by the way, the only time I did that was Matt Best and I were in New York City. It was McGregor the night that he won the champ belt, the double belt, right? So we were at that fight. Now Matt is a diehard UFC guy, watches every single fight, and he goes, "Hey man," so I got him tickets. This is when we signed that book deal. So I got
That
him.
was 2016, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Fuck.
And so I got ringside tickets for that fight, and I said, "Hey, man, thanks, this is awesome. We just signed the book deal in New York with the publisher. And he goes, I want to see every card. And I was like, whoa. I goes, have you been to a UFC fight before?
7 to 8 hours of fights.
Bro, it is
like, holy shit.
8 hours of fights. Our drink bill by the end of that, I think was $876 because you're there for 8 hours, dude. I mean, it is fucking lengthy. So if you guys are starting that early, you will be rocked by the time Khabib actually enters the ring that night.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
I hope so.
yeah. So let's start from the undercards. You can fire away here, Giorgio.
Oh God, we're starting with the undercard. I have no picks for that. I only did the main card.
No, the main card.
Oh, okay, the bottom of the main card.
Bottom of the main card. Yeah.
Agamed versus Ion. Oh, this is great. So speaking of Dagestan, Magomed is the truth at the light heavyweight division. If you want to see anyone fight Izzy, that's actually a good fight. It's Magomed. He's an amazing wrestler, feels super comfortable. He's going to do the same thing Khabib's going to do. He's going to put you in positions, drive you to the cage, take you down, tie up both your legs. He's going to push you.
So he's a modified Sambo guy too?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yes, but look for the left high kick. The left high kick to the head he's knocking people out with. He's going to roll through Ion. This is the next truth in this division. If you want to bet on, this is my top pick of the entire card. If you want to put money on anything, this is what you put money on.
This is your lock. So I'm with you on this. Actually, you and I are 2 for 2 here on this one. I'm with you on this. The only problem, once again, is the odds are minus 315 for the Dagestani. Are we calling them Dagestanis? What do we?
I think they prefer that. They don't consider themselves Russian.
Great.
They're Dagestani.
That's why they make parlays.
Yes, exactly. That's why they make parlays. So this will be in my parlay, but I've also got him as well. Now, the interesting part about this one that I think is important to note. So if you're curious about the dominance that Giorgio was speaking of, the over-under in this is only a round and a half. So it is not long whatsoever. Are you expecting the over or under in this at a round and a half?
This is just whenever the fight, there's no pick on this. It's just whenever the fight decides to end. Whatever that moment happens and he sees it, he's going to
there's a monetary value on it, so I can tell you that.
That's Vegas has it right. I mean, he may catch him in that first round and a half, or it may be at the end of the second round. It's going to be a left high kick to the head and he's going to knock him out. Take the under.
Okay.
Take the under.
So for me personally, when I see an over under of a round and a half, unless it's a girls fight, I don't take it because it could go 2 rounds and you're like, all right, sweet. Maybe he wants to get in more work.
Yeah, that's how I feel about that too. Yeah.
Whatever. So for me personally, a guy like me, I do the parlays with the fights themselves and the fighters rather than the over unders in this. So I'm going to take the Dagestani here at minus 315 on a parlay. Betting that straight up again will only pay me off at maybe $160 on a $500 bet. It's just not worth it. Dan, who do you got in this?
For sure. Magomed's going to win. I don't think there's. I would be very surprised if it's not under 1.5, frankly, just because the other guy's solid, but I mean, Donald Cerrone is solid.
Right.
And you put him in that's not an insult. He is a very good fighter. You put him onto the street 9.5 times out of 10, he's going to kick the shit out of anybody, no matter what their size is. But with professional fighters who have game plans, who aren't just fighters, they're. It's like in a baseball, you can be a thrower, you can be a pitcher. Very different thing, right? It's an art form, and this kid, Magomed, he's just like Khabib. He is very well prepared. He's very disciplined. You don't see people like that lose very often unless they're young.
He has a better body though. He's so long. He
long.
has the tools of a John Jones.
He's got a 75-inch reach.
Nasty.
At 6'2", it's big. So is the other guy though, Ian. Whatever the fuck his name is.
Ion.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter.
Not gonna matter. Yeah.
Nobody's going to fucking care about that.
I'm going to lose.
Yeah. Next up, we got the chicks. We got the ladies.
This is almost another lock, too, for the Dagestani, to be honest.
Lauren Murphy, but the odds are better. So this is Lauren Murphy versus Lila Shikarova. I'm always amazing at these names. Here's the thing. You shouldn't bet against me on all this shit because I never fucking lose, but I can't pronounce any of these goddamn names. Lauren Murphy's at minus 210 on this.
She's 37 years old.
Correct. Who you got in this?
She's already fought
Giorgio?
twice this year.
She's a journeywoman slugger. I mean, she's remnants of what UFC women's used to be, where it was just chicks throwing bombs at each other, and whichever one was more nasty won that fight, or whichever one pulled the other one's hair. Yeah, exactly. That's all it was.
Yeah, sometimes.
Lilia is gonna destroy her. I was watching all her early fights before this. She looks so comfortable in her stance. She stands I don't want to say she stands like a dude, but she has that center of gravity that's just right underneath her.
A lot of core strength,
and she watches the fight. She doesn't. Her eyes never deviate, which where all these other women will look down and swinging overhand rights and just slugging at each other. she's so precise, and she's gonna pick Lauren apart. Like, this is just another journey. This is a stepping stone fight for her.
So for me, whenever it's a journey man, I'm not going to say journey woman. It sounds fucking weird. Whenever it's somebody like that who's 37 years old, you never know when their last fight is going to be. So me personally, I'm staying away from this fight financially, and I'm actually not betting on this. For the show, I will tell you that I would think Lauren's going to win, but I'm not putting my actual American dollars on this. Anthony?
No, the young woman, Lilia, is definitely going to win, the Dagestani. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't imagine Lauren Murphy being competitive against her unless she's got a little bit of a reach advantage and she's a good high striker. But, I mean, it's a Dagestani, right? One of the first things you learn in Sambo is how to defend a high strike and shoot. Like, literally, that's one of the basic things that you first learn. So I don't know that technique, unless you're excellent at it, would be effective. And if Lauren Murphy was excellent, I would know her name before today.
Yeah. Right. And Fake Dan, now here's a great opportunity this is a plus 170 for Lilia. Do you take her in a fight like this?
I think you just go all Dagestan, like parlay.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you say that,
We
dude.
should do that.
We actually did that.
And then
it was like the
hedge
third
with
match
Gaethje.
back after COVID. We went all fucking Dagestan, dude.
Cleaned up.
Yes. Housed it. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there.
You throw all three in,
Yeah.
even Khabib, and then you hedge with Gaethje on the last fight because you just check the box on the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a great way to lose all your money.
Well,
No, that's how you make money regardless, man.
I'm not a big hedge guy. So a lot of Drinkin Bros listeners who are in Drinkin Bros Sports, and by the way, if you're not in there, it's free on Facebook. You can see our actual bets in there because I put the betting slips in there every single day. But a lot of people hedge bets, especially on those parlays, when it gets down to the last game. I've won two or three of those already this year, and everybody's like, "Are you going to hedge?" I don't personally do it, but everybody else seems to be doing it. So I get it. I know who you are, Fake Dan. You're a dirty gambler. I like the clean big boy home run money. You're a dirty gambler who's like, if you come up by $80, you've had a great
He's like
day.
Kanish from Rounders.
Yeah.
John Turturro, just grinding it out.
Niet.
No, Kanish is John Turturro's character. Remember?
That's right.
The delivery truck.
That's right.
Yeah, he gambles for 14 hours for $120 profit.
Yeah,
I've been at this for a while. So
I like it. Next up, we got Phil Hawes against Jacob Malcolm. This is Phil Hawes at minus 250 in this one. Who you got, Giorgio?
This is honestly a pick'em fight. I would not put my hard-earned American dollars on this.
I agree. I'm not going to.
If Jacob wins, it's elbows from the clinch. So if Phil can stay away from him, he's a huge counter puncher. Phil's really tough, really strong. Like,
He's very strong.
yeah, he's a physical specimen. But if he can get tied up and get elbowed in the back of the head or get elbowed in the temple, he'll go down. He also walks in with his hands down all the time. So if he can take it, counterpunch with a huge left, he'll win. If he can't take it, he'll be sleeping.
Yeah, he kind of does. It's kind of a play on the old Anderson Silva model where you lead with your head. You know you're fast enough to get a grazing shot and then knock the guy out, right? Anderson Silva's done that fucking 30 times in his professional career. Finally started getting caught there at the end.
When you're 38 years old.
Yeah, but Haas is not 38. He's very fast, very good counter puncher. We'll see what happens. This is going to be actually one of the best fights of the night. I think it's going to be one of the most entertaining fights.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think I would bet on it.
I don't raise
The over
the skill
under.
level.
It's another over under of a round and a half, by the way. So
Don't even put your money on this. Just watch it.
I agree. Next up is Fake Dan's favorite fighter, Walt Harris. Walt Harris is fighting Alexander Volkov. Odd-wise, this is pretty evenly matched. It's minus 180 for Volkov and plus 150 for Walt Harris. Who you got, Giorgio?
This is the Volkov easy. You just go with you go with the big guy. You go with the experienced guy at heavyweight. I hate watching journeyman heavyweight fighters though too. There's nothing that bores me more. If you want to make money, put your money on Volkov. If you don't want to watch this fight, go to the bathroom.
these guys are going to be gassed by round 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's funny you say that. The over-under is 2.5. So clearly Vegas doesn't think it's going to round 3 anyways.
Well, 2.5 would be halfway through the third round, but not past the third round.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct,
there's no way.
Yes.
And I believe Walt Harris's last fight, he got worked by Overeem.
Yep.
Yeah, he got
Brock.
fucked up by Overeem.
Yeah, Brock fucked him up. Yeah, this is another one that I stay away from, me personally. But, if you're out there and you're a diehard fan of one of these guys, congratulations. Throw some cash on it.
Volkov's kind of like a butterface. He's got the body for it. He's got the fucking reach. He's got the weight, the height. He's a good-looking dude. But for some reason, you just can't put it together when it really matters. I don't know if it's discipline or just like lack of skill or what it is, but he's never really been able to put it together. I would say he's a journeyman at this point as well.
I completely agree. He's the perfect guy to lose to Stipe, and for you not to watch that fight or care about that UFC.
Yeah. Honestly, he is. If there's no number one contender, you just throw him in the ring with the guy and then fucking move on. Or if you got a number one contender and he needs a tune-up fight, this is the guy you get for him. Exactly. This is not the guy that fucking comes in and dominates. And why risk it? Why bet on not a sure thing? You should bet on what you are pretty sure and have some evidence to support is going to happen.
Which are those early fights in the card? Like, that's where your money's being made.
Yeah, and I really want to stress this again. I know I've said this a bunch of times on the show, but I'll say it again. Like, Dan and I are here to try to make money. Is my bookie stoked about it? I have no fucking idea. I know the promo code is Drinkin Bros and it will double your deposit, but the bets that we were telling you to bet on is shit that we would actually bet on. I'm not just going to tell you to throw your fucking money away at some of these shitty fights just to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it. So for a fight like this, no, dude, I don't fucking bet on it. And I wouldn't tell you guys to bet on it. Fake Dan's smiling over there. Of course you're going to bet on it. You'll probably put this in a parlay, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I'm going Volkov.
I would like to dig out like just a mud pit for you and just call it the Dirty Dan Show, where you talk about these dirty bets that you make. After we're expanding Drinkin Bros Sports, it will be its own RSS feed soon, so we will have extra shows on there. I would like to see Dirty Dan's Friday bets, where it's just you're gonna grind through that weekend and not shower because you don't want to miss one play.
Right. Yeah, we dig a hole. Giorgio throws me down a bucket.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's going to be heroin. All these guys are going to take like certain selects of the Dirty Dan bets. So Dan's going to come out even or up by a little every week. And you're just like, I took 2 of those and I fucking lost everything.
Breaking even.
Dan's going to be fine.
Breaking even is winning. Come on.
Breaking even is
so
winning.
So is fucking your cousin.
Last night, dude, after the debates, I've never seen somebody just grind their teeth more than watching the worst football game of all time, Philadelphia Eagles against the Giants.
That's a win, baby. Let's
your
go.
Beloved Eagles did come. They scored 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes and came back and won by 1 point.
Eagles.
And they didn't cover. So you probably lost, right?
Yeah, I lost.
Yeah.
But the Jets actually won.
No. The Jets won.
The Jets won, not the bet.
Trevor
Although
Lawrence.
they did win the bet.
Yeah.
They stayed defeated.
They stayed defeated, and it's Trevor. It's Trevor's
It's hard
time,
it's hard to believe they didn't do it on purpose. I hate to accuse people of things.
They fucking did. I'm with you.
But God damn it, dude. I mean, seriously.
I know. Last fight of the night before the Khabib fight is Robert Whittaker against Jared Cannonier.
I'm saying French Tobago maybe or somewhere
Yeah,
in North
now
Africa.
this is Vegas-wise and mybookie.com-wise. This is the most evenly matched fight of the night. Both fighters are at -115. The over-under's at 2.5, which is directly in the middle of the fight. This is a complete pick'em as far as fights go, as far gambling-wise.
3rd or 4th round, Robert Whittaker is going to start with his left lead hand down. Jared Cannonier is going to smell blood. He's going to try to come in really fast and get high kicked to the head and be knocked out. You watch Robert Whittaker. He's going to tire you out in the first 2 rounds. He's going to push you. He's going to put you in positions you don't want to be in. And then when you're tired and you think you can go win this fight and you see it right there and you see those lights and you see your name being announced, Jared Cannonier, and he's going to kick you in the fucking head and then he's going to walk out of that ring.
I mean, Cannonier is number 2. He's the middleweight number 1 contender.
Yep.
We're not fucking around here.
No.
No.
He's I feel uncomfortable saying his nickname. It's to kill a gorilla, but
we are now canceled.
yeah, like I can't say that. That's really insensitive of him.
His traps are to his ears, though.
He is a goddamn monster.
Monster.
He is a man. I would not want to fight some of these guys.
Although he may left hook Robert Whitaker and knock him out in like 10 seconds. So
honestly,
that could also happen.
It's a fun fight, man.
Honestly, he's 36, so this is kind of like his last.
He is
hurrah.
36, but he's got a fucking 4-inch reach advantage, and that's a full fist.
And the body of a 22-year-old.
Yeah, he is a fucking absolute stud, and he's got a 4-inch. He's got a fist reach on this dude. So Whitaker better be real careful about how he walks in. He likes to walk in with his hands down
with
too
that
sometimes.
left hand down. He always does. Yep.
Like I don't know if he's trying to draw a punch or if he's trying to look cool or what.
That's exactly what it is. He's trying to draw that punch.
If you're trying to do that, by the way, and you know that you're it's Kentucky windage, you know we're fighting a guy that's a little bit faster, quicker than you're used to. Just drop it, but keep it near the hip and not down to your thigh, maybe.
Which is where I think the footwork is going to come in handy, which is how tired these fighters are going to be. So I think that's watch the conditioning. I don't know if we can do live bets on this. Is my bookie do live bets?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, after the first 2 rounds, if nothing's happened, watch how tired someone is. And if Cannonier is much more tired than Whitaker and doesn't seem to be able to hang in, may move that bet over a little bit.
Yeah, and real quick, Fake Dan, you do live bets all the time. You live and die by that.
Yeah.
Explain to the audience what that is and why those odds are better.
You just grab a line as the game's going on or the fight's going on.
Right.
And it's constantly updated whether who's winning the fight, who's not winning the fight. And you can
right.
But the odds are traditionally higher.
They are higher. Here's look. So you've seen this I hate to use this example. You've seen that stupid Kevin Spacey movie 21, right? Where they play poker.
Yep.
Or poker. They're playing fucking 21.
Yeah, in Vegas.
Right?
Yeah.
And he does that math problem where you have 3 doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you to pick one, right? Mm-hmm. And you pick one, and I say, all right, second chance. Mm-hmm. Pick another door. Do you stay with that same door? Or do you pick one of these 2? You've increased your odds from a 30% chance to a 50% chance now by doing that. That is real math. That's how it works. I know it fucks with your brain a little bit, but the more data that you get out of the way and process, I love live betting for that.
Yeah.
Because think about a baseball game. I've got to think about it. The starter's going to have his stuff, how they're going to use the bullpen, what hitters look good that day and what hitters look confused, what the weather's like, all this shit. And I don't know that until probably the 3rd inning, to be honest. But after the 3rd inning, you can start betting on the window of being correct versus incorrect is way smaller now. You know what I mean? You can really dial in. Like I know Tampa Bay's got a great defense and bullpen. They're up 2 right now. There's very little chance they're going to lose this game. Then you can make a bet. So just keep your head up, guys.
A lot of people do live betting, and if you're at a party or one of these watch parties for any of this stuff, you see somebody on their phone constantly like this. They're looking for those odds because they are updated in an instant.
They don't have friends. They're not texting.
No, not at all. They're not texting. They're not trying to be a dick at your party. They're simply trying to gamble on all of this stuff, and that's where the future of all of it goes. Me personally, I don't do live betting because I like to make my decision beforehand. Typically, it is based on my knowledge, and I don't miss that much. Therefore, I don't want to second guess myself. Also, I have 2 children, and I don't want them to know that Dad is an aggressive gambler who is on his phone all the time and not paying attention to them. So I don't do that. However, Giorgio, Dirty Dan, you guys are all in. Dan, 3/4 the time you're here, I'm sure you're live betting.
Yeah, I just put it in a bet for Victor Hovland to win the Zozo Championship. 66-1.
Guys, Dan has a problem.
No, we love it. That's why we hired him. One of the best in the biz.
Oh, everyone's asking the time of the fight. The main card starts at 1 p.m.
Correct.
Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So, you'll get that announcement, too. So if you're not paying attention, just check into Drinkin Bros.
Yeah, just checking in Drinkin Bros podcast. They are fighting in the Middle East.
Prelims are at 11 a.m.
Yes, it is an early one, and these are East Coast times, by the way.
That's Central Time.
4:15, this Khabib fight?
Oh, I don't know about that. No, I'm saying the main card begins at 1 p.m. Central. So 2
gotcha,
p.m.
gotcha.
Eastern.
Yes.
Preliminary is at noon, 11 a.m. Central, and early prelims start at 10 a.m., which I wouldn't. I mean, if you're bored, go ahead. They're free, I believe. They're on ESPN Plus if you have an ESPN Plus subscription. And the preliminary card is actually on ESPN 2.
Yeah.
So you can watch that as
Absolutely.
well for free.
And go to mybookie.com, promo code Drinkin Bros, double your deposit, and bet on all these fights with us. Giorgio's picks, all of them, will be inside Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. So sign up. It's for free. You can see all of the fights that he talked about today and what he bet on, and follow along. Let's see if he's right or not. Either way, Giorgio, this might be your calling, is doing UFC shows.
I love this. This is so much fun. And if you want to check in with me and Dan tomorrow night and watch
tomorrow
us,
afternoon.
tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
Tomorrow afternoon, yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably go live like at 12:45 or so, like noon 45 p.m. Central Time, so 1:45 p.m. East Time, and we'll do a little intro, show you what we have around, which will probably be a bunch of booze and weed.
We're gonna show them the drugs. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. We're gonna
Show
be like
the
a little
drugs.
mini drug cribs. You know?
Yeah.
I'm out of mushrooms because
Oh my God, you had so many.
some lady that I'm dating stole them all from me, but that's fine, whatever.
That's cool. I mean, she wants to get lit.
Yeah, she microdoses.
Good for her.
good for you.
Good for her.
Ah,
Good
she's-
for her.
I macro dose, which is
She's cognitively way more there than I am, so
Yeah.
I just got to give it up to her.
yeah. Now she's admitting to it in the chat. She stole my shit.
I hope
It's
our
fine.
insurance adjuster that I'm meeting with in 2 weeks is not listening to this show. Either way,
You don't have insurance on me, although we should get
I'm
insurance
trying.
on me.
I'm trying to get insurance on you.
Well, good luck. Good fucking luck. I'll be here for an interview. If you need me to talk to this lady, I'll absolutely talk to her. I'll show up fucking shit-faced.
It's a dude, but either way, look, if you want to see if this is real, tune into Drinkin Bros podcast on YouTube tomorrow. Giorgio and Dan will be watching the fights live with you and in-fight betting. So look, shit, if there's anybody better to bet on live in-fights bets with someone else in this world other than Giorgio, I don't know who that is. He will give you the up to the second info. So tune in tomorrow to Drinkin Bros podcast live on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll tell you what live bets we're making as we're making them.
Correct.
on the show.
So bad.
Yeah, that's fine. For fake Dirty Dan, Giorgio, D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. Good night, everyone.
See you in hell.